Faithful, what's up? Welcome in. You're watching the 49ers Report right here on Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Hope all of you out there have had a fantastic week and weekend. As always, we appreciate all of your support of the show. And speaking of supporting the show, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so. We're less than 2,000 people away from 80,000 subscribers. And then once we get to 100,000, YouTube send us that plaque. And I want to hang it up here at Chat Sports. This is your go-to spot for the best Niners offseason coverage. And, of course, during the season, we do watch parties and multiple live shows every single week all throughout the year with videos coming your way every single day. 240,000 people joined us right here on the show for our Eagles-Niners NFC Championship game watch party. Join the best faithful family here on YouTube and subscribe today. Do want to start with this. Javon Kinlaw did not have his best outing against the Philadelphia Eagles, and in 3 seasons now, he's barely been available for San Francisco. He got double-teamed a lot by that great Philadelphia offensive line, but he got thrown out the club on multiple occasions. Go back and watch the tape. He wasn't good as this Niners defensive line got exposed, and so too did Javon Kinlaw. There's a lot of buzz right now. Could San Francisco cut him to cut the cost but save money in the future? Could they trade him to a team that is defensive lineman needy? It's been a huge disappointment since being a first-round pick in 2020 out of South Carolina. He had knee issues at South Carolina. Those knee issues have translated to him with the Niners, and he's only played in 24 games in 3 seasons now in the regular season. 45 tackles during that span, 3 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits, only a sack and a half. Now, defensive tackles aren't supposed to have and produce large sack numbers, but San Francisco did not envision this lack of production when they took Kinlaw in the first round, in addition to Brandon Aiyuk, who's ended up being one of the best and most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. Kinlaw did not have a good showing against the Eagles, and I know that Eric Armstead took to Twitter to defend him and say, that was on me for not holding up on the A block. But that was one play that went viral on social media, Eric Armstead, and I respect that you come to the defense of your teammates now and in the past because that's the type of dude that you are, and that's great. But go back and watch the tape. Javon Kinlaw was not good in that entire game. He was a weak spot along that defensive line. And throughout his career, he's talked a big game, but he hasn't really backed it up. I like his swagger. When you see Kinlaw on the field, you're like, man, this dude is a unique physical specimen. He bit a head off of a squirrel a couple of years ago, so that means that he's never scared, but you got to back it up at some point. And defensive tackle, especially right defensive tackle for the Niners, a huge need this offseason. I understand they were good against the rush all throughout the year, but Philadelphia exposed them. Philadelphia had its way in the trenches, and I think that moving forward, in order to maximize Nick Bosa, to keep him fresh, as he really wasn't fresh the last month of the season, and to make that overall unit better, you need more star power along that defensive line. You're deep, you're versatile, and you were the last 2 years. I just want to see more talent come to the Niners at that defensive line spot and defensive tackle specifically. Next up on the show, could Brandon Aiyuk get traded this offseason or next for some draft capital? In the internet sphere, there's some talk right now about Brandon Aiyuk potentially getting dealt. Why is that? So he has 2 years left on his rookie deal. That would include a 5th-year option because he is a former 5th-round pick. But why he could get traded is because the 49ers can't afford to pay everybody. And Aiyuk, with his continued development, as he's gotten better and better, year 1, year 2 to year 3, as here in 2022, he had a career year. He could demand top dollar as a wide receiver 1, and the Niners might not be able to use him as wide receiver 1 because they just paid Deebo Samuel, and he might get more money elsewhere if the Niners can't pay him. I'll look at the Niners' top 2023 cap hits. These are some of the best players in the NFL at their respective positions. Trent Williams, $27 million cap hit. Eric Armstead, nearly $24 million. Fred Warner, $18.5. George Kittle, 18 even. Nick Bosa, nearly $18 million. Charvarius Ward next year, $16.5. Christian McCaffrey, $12. Trey Lance, 9.3. Deebo Samuel, 8.5. And Kyle Juszczyk with 6.5. So Aiyuk going into this year might want a contract extension, similar situation to Debo from last year, even though Debo didn't have that fifth-year option because he was a second-round pick and Aiyuk was a first-rounder. But this is a conversation, and there is some buzz that maybe this situation could happen, especially now. Now, I understand this is peak off-season stuff, right? But Brandon Aiyuk on Instagram liked a picture that had the caption, Brandon Aiyuk will be a New York Giant. It's him rocking a Giants uniform, and Brandon Aiyuk liked it. Now, maybe he just respects that other fan bases want him. Other fan bases think that he can be a wide receiver one, and they've been very impressed with his development. But he's going to want to get paid. I'm telling you right now. So if it's not a conversation this offseason, it might be next offseason if Aiyuk doesn't get an extension. And it's easy to see why. His rise has been great. We're talking about a JUCO player who went to Arizona State, really worked on himself, worked on his game, and has ended up being a really fantastic player. He's one of the better route runners, has some of the best footwork right up there with Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, and Devontae Adams. And when targeted, has one of the better catch rates in the NFL. But in this offense, we know that San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan, they like to run the football a little bit more, and they don't chuck it across the yard all that much. And maybe Debo will want to go, Brandon Aiyuk, will want to go somewhere where he's utilized a little bit more in the pass game to put up larger numbers. Now, you look at the year-by-year production for Aiyuk. 60 catches year one, 768 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's with him not having an offseason to really grasp the playbook because of COVID, and he also missed some time. 2021 last year got off to a slow start as he was in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse and really turned it on after that 3-5 start. Still ended with 826 yards, and this year played in every game, caught 78 balls. And to have 1,000 yards on 78 catches is really, really impressive to go along with the career high in receiving yards, also had a career high in touchdowns with that 8. And if you trade Aiyuk, here's my thought process with trading Brandon Aiyuk, and this is why I wouldn't do it. Like the 49ers look ahead, and they're like, okay, we mortgaged draft capital for Trey Lance. We're without those first-round picks. We could get one this year, maybe get one next year. We gave up some draft capital for Christian McCaffrey. They still have 11 picks right now because of a lot of comp picks in the 2023 draft. But if you trade Brandon Aiyuk, doesn't make sense because are you going to get a better player than Brandon Aiyuk in that first round? Probably not. It's a very valuable member to this offense. And Deebo Samuel has gotten injured a lot. Something to think about for the Niners, something to think about for this fan base as well. Do you want Aiyuk to be a long-term Niner? Let us know. Type LGB in the comment section for Let's Go Brandon Aiyuk down in the comment section. Let us know right now. Be sure to sound off and play the role of general manager. 49ers Report today is presented by Athletic Greens. 5 free travel packs and a year's supply of vitamin D if you sign up using our link at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I take AG1 every day, and you can get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I originally gave AG1 a try, and I take it every day because given my work schedule at Chat Sports, combined with my training regimen, as I'm on a mission to run every day for a year straight, I just surpassed 250 straight days. I wanted sustained energy and to stay healthy by keeping my immune system strong so that I can strive toward my professional work life and personal fitness goals. I take AG1 every morning as part of my routine, and it sets the table for the rest of my day. It's helped improve my gut health. It's boosted my energy. It supports my immune system and helps me recover since I'm putting such a toll on my body. I take AG1 because I love it. 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. I simply mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water, and I drink it first thing each morning or before and after my workouts. I also love that something that's this good for you in prioritizing your health and wellness. One life, one body. Costs less than $3 per day. If it's this good for you, why not invest in yourself? So if a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Head to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. The link is in the comment section as well as the description of this video. It's become a staple of our routines for me and everybody else here at Chat Sports. You don't want to miss out if you want to prioritize your health and wellness. Let's start taking your questions as well as your super chats. Mac Daddy, excuse me, had to let that out there. We need some offensive linemen. We need to beef up with some blocking tight ends and beef up the interior defensive line. We have plenty of draft picks to do it. Let's also go get Tom Brady. For offensive linemen, you need to figure out right tackle. Are you going to bring back Mike McGlinchey? He's going to get paid in free agency. You need to figure out center. I like Spencer Burford's future at right guard. Aaron Banks played pretty well, but this is a Niners offensive line that did not hold up against Dallas and Philadelphia. Blocking tight ends, you can find those guys easily, like Charlie Warner, Tyler Kroft, and George Kittle can give you that. I honestly wouldn't hate drafting and developing a young tight end for when George Kittle moves on at some point. And then as for the interior of this defensive line, you have to get better on the interior of the defensive line, but all across that defensive line, get a better pass rusher opposite of Nick Bosa. He deserves it. G-code with the 5. 49ers need to take out the boombox entrance. They act like a 19-year-old Mike Tyson with a young championship. 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl in a while. I like the swaggy walk-in intro. It's a staple for Trent Williams as well as Deebo Samuel. It certainly didn't work against Philadelphia, though. Mac Daddy, another 5. Kyle is awesome. You're not going to find a better head coach. If so, who the hell is there? Come on, guys. It's too easy to blame the coach. Kyle Shanahan is a top 5 to 10 coach in this league. He's coming off his best coaching outing this year. You start 3-4, you win 12 games straight with 3 different quarterbacks, and then you're on QB4 in the NFC Championship game. Like, there's a reason why Josh Johnson has been on, 13 teams in his NFL career? He stinks. Does he have some of his downfalls? Does he have weaknesses? Yes. All coaches do, though, in my opinion. And do you remember what happened when Jim Harbaugh and this relationship with the Niners soured out? You don't want that to happen again. Be careful what you ask for. You don't want Jim Tomsula and Chip Kelly all over again. The real GOAT with 5, I'm riding with Kyle Shanahan. Niner fans still can't forgive the organization for letting Harbaugh go. Be careful what you wish for, faithful, for real. That's exactly what I just said, the real GOAT. I agree. G-Code 2. Before Kyle, home games looked COVID empty. We need Kyle Shanahan. I mean, look, do we forget how bad Mike Singletary was? Jim Tomsula, Chip Kelly? This organization, for lack of a better term, was dog shit. And Kyle Shanahan has helped them bring him back. I mean, year 3, he made it to a Super Bowl after having to tear everything down and rebuild it. And now he's gone to back-to-back NFC Championship games, 3 NFC title games in 4 years, including a Super Bowl appearance. Do you want sustained success? Do you want to have a chance every single year? You have that with Kyle. You're going to continue to have it with Kyle. Don't be greedy. John Wallace with 5. What's up, John? Love y'all. Offensive linemen, defensive backs. See you, Brandon, if that's the case. Great year. Chase the GOAT and family. John Wallace, salute you and all of the support that you gave us as well as everybody throughout this year. But our coverage isn't going to stop here. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't leaving. Let's ride. Hector Rivera, $2. Josh didn't see Kittle open. He needs to go. Josh Johnson stinks. Yeah. Kittle was open on that one play in the flat. It's just so unfortunate that we are robbed of a really good NFC Championship game, and the Niners, with this Super Bowl-ready roster, were robbed of a realistic chance of making it to the Super Bowl. Because once Purdy went down, we kind of knew that this game was over. And then once Christian McCaffrey was taking snaps at quarterback, my goodness, that's bad. Izzy B with the 2. Bring in Cam Newton. Draft the SEC West as well as Georgia players. Anytime that you can draft SEC players, I'm a fan of it. Cam Newton, though, that shoulder's cooked. To Allure. Should we address our secondary? I'd like to bring back Emmanuel Mosley. If you bring back Emmanuel Mosley, maybe you don't bring back Jimmy Ward. But if you don't bring back Jimmy Ward, do you bring back Deshaun Gibson, and then you roll with Hufanga, Deshaun Gibson? Also, keep in mind some players might follow DeMeco Ryans to the Houston Texans. Harold Murillo, how many players will follow DeMeco? It's hilarious that you say it because I just said it. I'm looking at players like an Azeez Al-Shire who can make a lot more money with the Texans in a scheme that he's played and flourished in as compared to the Niners. Jimmy Ward, an interesting option to go to H-Town. Could he pluck some offensive talent? That's a possibility as well. Knuckle up. Connor McGovern, Marcus Cannon, Justin Pugh. You're talking about offensive linemen there. McGovern's solid. Marcus Cannon, Justin Pugh, really just okay. Justin Pugh, current Arizona Cardinal, I guess could be a former Arizona Cardinal. The pass master, I'm not surprised by the Texans hiring DeMeco for what they had he was a shot. He was the best choice. He was, I think. I mean, it's a guy who used to play there, has a level of familiarity with that city. I know the fan base is really pumped up. We have a couple of Texans fans here at Chat Sports. They're really excited because of those reasons of bringing in a former franchise pillar and franchise icon. And I also really like him for his leadership qualities and what he brings to that organization as a face of that franchise. He got a 6-year deal, so he's going to be given some leeway to get that team back on track. Marcos Palmer. What do you think is our number one offseason priority? I think a stable quarterback. If that's Brady, so be it. It's quarterback. I mean, this team is loaded at every single other position outside of those spots along the offensive line that we've talked about and some spots along that defensive line. So, yeah, you got to get a quarterback in here who's going to be able to play consistently. Is that going to be Trey Lance? Is it going to be Brock Purdy? Is it going to be Tom Brady? But the number one offseason need is to figure out that quarterback spot because you can win a Super Bowl if you get that quarterback spot right or if Lance, Purdy, they develop nicely. Matt Solomon, who do you think the Niners starting quarterback should be? Because Jimmy G and Trey, I think they suck, and Brock would be a great backup. Yeah, the jury is still out on Brock. I mean, he went 7-0, played really well in those eight games prior to the NFC Championship game. Jimmy G, I think he's going to go somewhere else. He's going to have a market elsewhere. I also don't think that the Niners should bring him back. So I think it's going to be Trey, Brock, or Tom Brady. One of those three. Ernesto, who do you think the Niners should pick up in this year's upcoming draft? Maybe a future right tackle, but it might be hard to find one in the third round. A center, you can find a good one in the third round. A defensive tackle, edge rusher, and maybe another cornerback, maybe another safety as well. Those are the spots that I'm looking at in free agency as well as in the NFL draft. Before we hop on out of here, make sure you subscribe. It's youtube.com/49ers TV. Let's get to 80,000 subs. Let's get that plaque and get to 100K.